I'm so excited. I missed the mic.
These niggas thought we were dead. You thought we were gone.
It's always interesting yelling into a microphone, you know? It's like triple amplification.
Triple the amplification for a podcast that deserves
all of it.
All of the amplification. Welcome back, ladies, gents, all those in between.
Or outside.
Or outside. Because, you know, we exist outside the box.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we go in that motherfucker. We're back up in this podcast life. I don't have shades on today.
We did notice that.
They might return sooner or later, but just wanted to show some face. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. There's a lot going on in the world per usual. We're also on our way to summer. I'm a summer baby, and so shout out the Leo gang. And I always feel like as a child of the sun, I thrive in the warmer seasons. So I'm excited about that. I was thinking about how grateful I am to have this podcast and this platform, and really all of the South as a space and a place to get out some of the thoughts and energy that sits in me and can kind of, you know, I saw one video that was saying like creative energy that goes unused is not, or unexpressed is not dormant. It doesn't go away. Yeah. It turns into other things. It turns into anger, frustration. It turns into lashing out. It turns into depression.
Word.
And so I'm grateful that, you know, we have this space to express our creativity, to be creative, and to get it out into a world and have people communicate back to us that it resonates and that they love it and that it feels good and that they want more of it. So, I'm mostly excited and hyped for the conversation.
Nice. I definitely resonate with that. I feel, you know, always grateful that I can create and express myself via this platform. And have been doing so as of late in a real way that I would say is like true to me and true to like what got me here, which is like graphic design and like turning political education into various graphic design content, graphic series that I put out online. To do that for the South, it has been dope. I've been really enjoying like, you know, similar to this podcast, there's like a lot of research that goes into our work, that goes into our creative products.
Yeah, you be studying.
Yo. And I really enjoy it because the education system failed me up until I went to FAMU. But for the most part, like, you know, I was never really interested in like history or politics. So to read up on a bunch of historic realities that our world, our people have experienced, and to be able to creatively express myself through design, through graphics, through our work with the South, it's just been dope. And definitely want to plug our Instagram. You all should go check out some of the latest designs and some of the latest work that we've been putting out. I fucking spent like 24 hours reading up about Zionism.
Ciao.
And I was just like...
Got it.
I was already pissed.
It's giving the devil.
I was already pissed about, you know, what's happening in Palestine. But after reading and like understanding what Zionism is and like actually wrapping my brain around it, actually like reading, I was just like, these niggas is crazy.
Very, very crazy.
Like, and to me, there's something about the timing of it all that's like, this doesn't feel too far
No.
off. Like, granted, we're talking about like 100+ years, maybe like $1.25, but like, it doesn't feel that long because what's this nigga's name? Theodore Herzl, who's essentially like the founder of Zionism. The nigga died when he was like 44.
Oh, wow.
So like he put out this book that's essentially, you know, about Zionism, and is like literally the like, you know, kind of similar to like Project 2025. It's like puts out
the case for it,
this ideology, and then like low key within his lifetime he was able to see the shit progress,
even though he died at 44.
Because
wow.
I feel like it came out like 18, like late, like 1880 something, 1890 something, and then he might have died. Damn, when does this nigga die? I don't want to be wrong.
Well, as you're looking it up, though, it's also when you do the like research and digging into like what Zionism actually is, and then you think about people saying, "I'm a Zionist," like, or like someone like Joe Biden, who wants to be the president of who was the president of a like multiracial country, to be like, "I'm a Zionist," like, oh wow, like it's a very like.
Like, do you even know what you're talking about, bro?
Do you even know what you're saying? It's also like, okay, words matter.
So he put out this book in 1896, which is essentially like Zionism 101. If you fuck with it, hop on board and start organizing, my nigga. And then he dies in 1904. So like, and then I think there was like a Zionism Congress.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, folks should definitely check out our Instagram. We'll put the handle here. But
yeah, bro, it's crazy. Anyways, definitely.
I would just say check out the Instagram, because we're not going to talk too deep about Zionism on this episode, but there's a lot to understand, and it's important to know, because I think the main thing to name is that like being anti-Zionism is not the same as being anti-Semitism. It's actually opposite, and I think it's so unfortunate that people have used those two to say like to shut down dissent, to use the threat or the fear of anti-Semitism, anti-Jewish sentiment, which is very real, and very much a part of the white nationalist agenda that is ruling the White House. But they use the threat of that or the fear of that to promote Zionism,
for sure,
which is just a state of being that a political strategy of what Zionism is to wipe out a group of people from a set of land in order to make space for another group of people.
For sure. And again, to close, because we're not going to really talk about this too much on this podcast, but it is. Knowledge is power, and it is very liberating. It was very liberating to read up about Zionism and be like, oh, I can actually talk about this and know that I'm not being anti-Semitic.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, oh shit, because before I'm like, well, let me not talk about this shit because I don't want to be, you know, and I see my homies do the same thing. They're like,
I don't want to
label
be in that
me,
category, because we don't want to be anti-Jewish. We don't want to be anti-Semitic. Right. We're definitely not those things. But those are not the same. And that's just the headline.
So let's definitely, again, shout out to our Instagram. Please check it out. Also wanted to get into what we are actually going to be talking about.
Can I just shout out my bestie, Anovia, before you do? Because I'm drinking the cup and her picture's on it. She turned 40 this year. Happy birthday, Anovia. Anyways, go ahead. Thank you.
You made the cut, Anovia. Very randomly, but you're here. We create space for all brain types on this podcast.
Absolutely.
You know?
You said brain types?
Yes. So, you know,
He's diagnosing me.
if we want to go into a 20-minute conversation about Anovia, we could do that.
No, it's
you know
okay.
what I'm saying? I mean,
That'll be another episode.
We did go off on our Zionism shit for a little bit. So we could make space for Anovia.
Zionism, we talked about
Anovia.
Novi.
This is a great episode.
It's a great episode.
But real rap. Shout out Novia. Had a blast. Low key, that I feel like talking about Novia actually does make sense because, you know, a lot of folks are going to be like, where were you all during the whole like absence of the show?
We went on a trip, went on vacation to celebrate Novia's birthday and to reconnect with some homies from DC that we haven't seen in a long time. It was really nice.
And in true parent fashion, we needed a break.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't really intentional, but it just happened.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yes.
Let's talk about that trip for 2 seconds because I was so nervous about traveling out of the country.
For sure.
And then having to come back into Trump's country.
Yes.
Boy, I'm really happy that went as smoothly as it did.
Yeah.
That's not the experience for everybody.
No.
I thought, you know, as soon as we got to border control, I thought they were going to be like, Kevin Bernard, we were waiting for you. Come on. We got your favorite snacks.
They don't have your favorite snacks, though.
Soda water. We got you. You want it? Come on.
But it wasn't even getting back into the country that was the real headache. It was getting into Mexico.
Shit. Mexico.
It was trying to get into Mexico, and they were so like, and I was telling this story to some, basically when we were going through Mexico customs after we flew into the Cabo San Lucas airport, and we were going through Mexico customs, they have this process where like, you know, you put your bag through a reader and then you're supposed to push a button, and if the button turns red, then you're randomly selected to be searched. But both me and Kevin got randomly selected to be searched.
Nigga, I've been to Mexico like what, 3 or 4 times?
Yeah.
I'm like 4 for 4 on that shit.
4 for 4 on the
like,
random search.
So let's not even play that game.
But the dude was so aggressive and aggy and like,
I'm like, bro, you took out all of my shit, so you're gonna put it back in there, or I'm just gonna take my fucking sweet time.
But even the way that they were taking it out and talking to us is like, are you trying to prove something to somebody? Like, what is really going on? And I mentioned it to somebody, and I recall they said that part of what Mexico is trying to do is to show that because the one of the lies that Trump is to, and not even just Trump, but people who want to be very anti-immigrant and like move this whole like extreme border securities policies are saying is that a lot of drugs are coming in from Mexico, fentanyl to be specific, and that like that's the problem. That's why we need to crack down on immigration. And so the idea is that Mexico is like showing that they're very, very
they're on their shit
about drugs coming into their country or
they're
into
like,
the other country.
in fact, we have thousands of Americans locked up in our system right now because
they
brought drugs to ours.
Because you're trying to bring your drugs to our country,
basically.
But yeah, I'm grateful that we didn't get caught up in any way.
I ain't bringing shit to Mexico. Nigga, I don't care if it's legal. Even if it's legal.
Yeah.
I'm not bringing that shit.
It's definitely, I think it's also just like, I keep thinking about like, what do people think is freedom? Like, is living in a police state where you gotta like you have to carry all your documents and make sure every single thing is all the way up to date, and is that freedom? Like, that does not sound like freedom to me.
Nah. It's definitely a high level of policing, high level of whipping you into shape. But again, I'm happy that we were able to get in that, get out, and keep it moving, have a great time. Again, even though that's not everybody's experience. So the homie hit us up, and she said...
Aisha? Yes.
Hit us up.
Yes.
Shout out Aisha.
Appreciate you, sis.
For all you do. And she asked.
She said she asked us to talk about identity politics on our next episode.
I was curious as to why she wanted us to talk about identity politics, and then I overheard you listening to some Bernie Sanders clips or content.
It's his fault.
Talk to us about it. Set the scene.
Well, I think that there was like in the way that this discourse goes, I think it was actually, it was like May 20th around that time. So time is strange, but and news cycles are strange. But Bernie Sanders, famed, socialist leader and senator from Vermont, went on the Andrew Schultz podcast. It's a hard name to say. Andrew Schultz podcast.
I don't know.
He went on that podcast and said a number of things, but one of the clips was like him sort of dismissing identity politics. He said something to the effect of like, "Oh, you have identity politics, and
that's how old white men talk.
I'm gay, so I'm great. I'm black, so I'm amazing," and just sort of talking about how that's a tool to not talk about the issues of like classism and how it's dividing, or how identity politics is dividing the sort of populist electorate that could be fighting the rich elite, the oligarchs as he calls them, or the oligarchy.
To what we call identity politics.
Yeah.
That you're black, you're wonderful, you're tremendous, you're gay, you're the greatest human being on earth.
Yeah.
And rather than say, what do you stand for?
Exactly.
You're gay, that's fine, who cares?
Yeah.
But what do you stand for?
Yeah.
Is every gay person brilliant and wonderful and great? No, of course not. Everybody's a human being.
Yeah.
So the issue is what you stand for, which gets you back to what we discussed earlier, class politics, in the sense of which side are you on? Are you going to stand with working families? Are you going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage or not? Are you going to fight to guarantee health care to all people or not? Are you going to demand that the wealthiest people start paying their fair share of taxes or not? Those are the issues. And no one cares what color you are, what your gender is, et cetera, et cetera.
And, we're not surprised by Bernie Sanders saying these type of things. This is actually what he's been on for as long as I can remember, even following him. I was one of the people that was like, he is not for us.
No.
In 2019 and 2020, when the Democratic presidential candidate field was very wide, and people were like, we got to go for Bernie, we got to vote for Elizabeth Warren, we got to vote for Joe Biden. These are people that are going to beat Trump.
Let's take it back to, what was it, 2015 or 2016?
Oh, damn.
Martin O'Malley and Bernie Sanders at Netroots.
That's wild. I was thinking it was the same time frame, but it really wasn't.
No,
that
really
was
wasn't.
That was definitely 2015.
Yeah.
Because he was running for president against Hillary Clinton at the time.
Right.
And Martin O'Malley in 2016.
So I knew he wasn't as great as people made him seem when he was fumbling. So at Netroots, which is a progressive conference that different organizations, people, activists, scholars.
Is this the 10-year anniversary of that?
I don't know, but I want to stay on track right now.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Progressive conference that everybody goes to. Angela and I were at this conference. A bunch of dope organizers, activists, dope people in the left space were there that year. Mad dope people. I could go off on a ton of names right now.
This is a
mad dope people.
Amazing people.
And Bernie Sanders and Martin O'Malley were giving some type of speech, some type of niggas on stage.
It was
talking.
a town hall.
Yeah. That's what it was. And it was that entire conference happened shortly after Sandra Bland was murdered in a Texas jail. Mm-hmm. And as black folks going to that conference, and as black folks carrying the trauma of knowing that we just lost Sandra Bland in this way, in our minds, we're like, this conference has to say something about.
We have to talk about Sandra. We have to talk about Mike Brown. We have to talk about...
Mike Brown didn't happen.
Yeah, huh? Yeah, because Mike Brown was killed in 2014.
No.
Yeah.
Was that this?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, time is crazy. But
Crazy.
It was like the beginnings. It was the beginning years of almost like the first kind of iteration of the Black Lives Matter movement. And there was a lot of us were like, and this is even before white liberals had decided that they were going to say Black Lives Matter at some point. And so
they were still struggling with that.
They were definitely still struggling. And we got to a place where the conference had happened, things were moving on, and it felt like there was no acknowledgement of this movement against police violence, targeting Black people, this movement for Black lives, Black experiences to be seen and to get justice.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, this town hall can't move forward until people acknowledge Black Lives Matter. And we shut the shit down. We disrupted it. We came up with a plan. We organized it with amazing people. Patrice Cullors was there. Sierra was there.
Definitely want to shout out Sierra Taylor.
Yes.
Definitely want to shout out Patrice Cullors. Sierra definitely hit me up and was like, we need to make a graphic or something. And I'm like,
okay.
Can we just slow down? What's happening? So
but we linked up.
We linked up. I'm pretty sure that's when I first actually met Patrice Cullors because Patrice, Sierra, and I linked up, and Patrice was like, or not Patrice, but Sierra was like, all right, we got to make this graphic. And I made a graphic for us to link up at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle.
It was like a secret Black meetup.
Yeah, it was legit all you niggas at this conference.
Now.
When you see the light in the air, meet up at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. The light went up in the air, and niggas met up at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles.
I wish I could remember who paid for it, because one person's organization paid for the food, and I wish I could remember, because shout out them. Yeah, it was really amazing.
So let's talk about it. So that's what I really appreciate about identity politics.
Okay, talk about it. Yes.
Because when you understand who you are, and when you walk into a space where other people understand who they are, and there's an understanding of well, this is my identity and these are the politics that align with my identity, it's less of a fighting for power if you know. And if you're also confident with what you know about your own identity. So in that space, it was lit because we had Black folks, we had brown folks, and people understood their role without fighting for power. Mm-hmm. So
and they understood that there was something bigger than our own individual experiences, but that united us.
Yes.
Even with our identities being a little bit different.
Yes. Sierra Taylor, Patrice Cullors, okay, y'all niggas want me to make a graphic. I haven't fully connected the dots here, but I'll make this graphic because I'm the nigga that makes graphics.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that shit. Mm-hmm. Shorty, who got foundation money, organization money, whoop-de-whoop money.
Get us a reservation and pay for the food. Thank you very much.
Get us a reservation for about 80 niggas. Pay for it. Move it forward. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Yes.
I feel like when identity politics is working well, when it is done the right way, intersectionality is very easy to experience, to see. It's very fluid. There isn't any second guessing.
Yes.
Especially when you confident and clear about your shit. So even this hat that I'm wearing and the shirt that you're wearing, it's a representation of a collaboration that we did with our homies from Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Shout out Greg. Happy birthday, Greg. It's your birthday today. Gang, gang.
The racialist never understands a peaceful language. The racialist never understands the nonviolent language. The racialist, he's spoken his language to us for 400 years.
We're speaking with Yuri Kochiyama, present when Malcolm X was assassinated in the Audubon Ballroom. Yuri was rushed to him and literally cradled his head in her lap as he was dying.
Asian Americans must be more vocal, visible, and take stands on crucial issues. Hopefully, Asians will side with the most dispossessed, oppressed, and marginalized, remembering our own history. We Asians need to reshape our image from the rather quiet, ambiguous, accommodating, uncomplaining, palatable people to a more resolute, sensitive advocate for human worth, human rights, and human dignity.
We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
This collaboration is, again, a representation of what happens when identity politics is run correctly. You know, we're a black firm. Greg has his Asian Filipino ran firm, and we're like, yo, we're both trying to do dope work, creative work. Let's link up, do this collaboration, and cook up. In my opinion, that's like a really good example of like identity politics working well. Like there isn't like a, oh, well, why are we talking about Yuri Kochiyama? We should be talking about Malcolm X. And It's like, actually, let's talk about how we're all fighting the same fight and how our oppressors are identical.
Yes. And that something I think about and talk about a lot is that all of the examples in U.S. history, especially, but I think this could be true in other multiracial countries around the world, like the examples, the instances where we moved forward, where progress happened, where there was a few people that had something, and then we expanded it to more people, or there was a one oppressor that was trying to push down a group of people. It's a multiracial, multi-generational, mixed coalition of people that come together to actually move it forward.
Yeah.
We don't actually get a lot of like collective progress if it's just individuals that are able, one siloed group pushing for one thing.
Right.
It's us as people who are across our identities, across our experiences, many different ones, coming together with those experiences intact. It's not about erasing the fact that it's a black firm and a Asian Filipino run firm. It's actually all of us coming together with our identities, and the power of our identities being the thing that is driving us to do this really great work.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I think back in my journey and how I got here, and I recognize that I found and learned about my identity by going to a historically black university, FAMU, and that ignited my confidence.
Yes.
It ignited
so good.
my confidence in a way that was like, wow. Like, racism really ain't got shit on me because I understand why you all are racist. I understand what is motivating white supremacy, and it's because I am great. Like, nigga, I'm supposed to be here.
Yes.
Like, my hair is growing towards the sun.
Hello.
There's a relationship with the fucking stars and my body. Nigga.
But that's also why it's disappointing to hear people like Bernie Sanders sort of like poo-poo and dismiss what he calls identity politics as like, oh, I'm black, I'm special, I'm gay, I'm special. Well, first of all, yes, I am. And second of all, I think that like it's about, you have to recognize that whiteness doesn't want us to know our power. For
sure. And they want to retain power.
And because they want to retain power. And a lot of our power comes from who we are. Our history, our history of resistance and triumph, our history of community and connection, and our identities, right? Like they want us to, white culture wants us to not see and feel the power of knowing that I am black and I'm beautiful. And part of the thing, and we were kind of talking about this a couple of weeks ago, like, it's one thing to say, why are you putting your identity for your like queerness or your blackness first as the forefront? Because I do think that can be toxic and stuff, that can have toxic outcomes. But you have to recognize people that are in the dominant identity, the one that has power, the white male identity, the white male Christian identity, they have to recognize that what they have done is try to deny us access to our identities. Right. Not just deny us access, but demonize, subjugate, criminalize us being who we are. So when you see people at Pride, at Juneteenth celebrations, for Black History Month, for Women's History, for all of Hispanic Heritage Month and so on, when you see people claiming their identities and celebrating it, it's one, because it's who we are and it's our history and we need to hold on to it. But it's also because you all tried to take it from us. We didn't have it for so long. It was illegal to be publicly queer. It was illegal to be proud and black. It was not just illegal, it was deadly. Right. People were being killed, are still being killed. Right. So when you say, oh, identity politics, it's just, I think I'm so special because I'm this, I'm that. And I'm claiming that specialness, I'm claiming that identity in spite of the fact that you and your people tried to take it from me.
Right. It makes sense why Bernie Sanders would not fuck with identity politics, because at the end of the day, he's an old white man.
His identity is the dominant one.
His identity in this Western America movie, you are clearly the main character. Hello. Congrats. However, until that main character is redistributing power, we not fucking with it. And that to me is why I can appreciate identity politics, because white supremacy doesn't want us talking to each other. Yes. White supremacy doesn't want us talking across the aisle. White supremacy wants to dominate power, and if we get wrapped up in identity politics, we will ultimately be building power within community. And if we build power within community,
we don't have to if we build power in community, we will build more power than you have. Because the other thing is that when you're building power in community, when you're buying from people who align with your identity and your values, that's, again, creating more resources, more access, and allowing you to move away from what the dominant white culture wants you to say you need to go to. They want us to be dependent on them and their milquetoast, whack ass culture. But when we say we don't need y'all, when we say we actually don't want to be white, like, why would you not want to assimilate and subscribe to the beauty that is our culture, which, by the way, we stole from you and mashed up and mutated? You don't want to be a part of us? Well, you certainly can't be your own thing, because we need you to subscribe to our indoctrination. We need you to subscribe to our ideas and of ways of where you belong. We're saying you belong. Your identity is down here. We're saying my identity is regal. My people are royalty. I don't know what you're talking about. I do not belong down there. When you know yourself and you know your history, you know your identity, you cannot be put in the place that white supremacy culture wants you to be put in.
Of course, you're going to get on this Andrew Schultz ass podcast and bond with your white brethren,
your fellow white dominant culture people.
Hey man, fuck all of them. Seriously, because it's like, that's actually a great example of identity politics done wrong.
The white male when wine fest that's happening right now.
Yeah, when the white tears are coming out because niggas aren't invited to the all black cookout. Like,
yes,
it's not about you.
Yeah.
So like, what do you like? Hold that down. And I feel like that's, again, a good example of identity politics done incorrectly. It's like when we're put into competition with each other. When we're now, it's like
a hierarchy.
Fuck what's morally correct. Fuck what's honest and true. I'm on the man side. I'm on the black side. So if some shit happens, oh well, I gotta defend the black side. And it's like,
right.
There's a yes to that.
Right.
And I feel like Bernie Sanders is showing his ass in a way that's like, you are so caught up on the power that your side has that you don't even see your own power and what power is available for someone like you when you're able to redistribute power.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's like, and the competition aspect of it actually is a real thing, because we even see it amongst, black folks and our people.
Yes.
When we're talking about like, shout out Deontay Kyle and the Grits and Eggs podcast, because they have been talking about like basically the infighting between black folks and like the man side and the women's side. And I think this identity politics is done incorrectly when it's putting us in competition with each other, when it's distracting us from the goal of liberation. And we see that clearly in like the Diddy versus Cassie case, in the Meg versus Tory situation,
or just how people say, they're trying to bring down a black man,
right?
Because I think kind of what I was hearing you say is that the yes I'm like naming my identity and like keeping that as the root of how I move through the world. Like that informs how I move through the world. My blackness is that. And also I have a moral compass.
Yeah.
And like black, brown, Jewish, whatever, sexual assault, not okay.
And if we
like, that's, you have to have, like, it's not just, and that the same is true, with like around politics as well. Like, yes, I love the idea of a black woman running for president as Kamala Harris. And also,
if she's whack,
my values are around anti-policing, anti-capitalism, pro-parent, so I think that it's hard. You can't just say the identity politics when it's in a silo without the other kind of foundation is where it can be toxic.
Toxic as fuck. And if we take a deeper dive into some of those situations, we will see where like we're getting the narrative fucked up and we're getting too caught up in a particular route or some shit. Like thinking about the Meg and Tory situation. Like if you think about, pro-blackness, the beneficiary of pro-blackness is often black men. Because we're often the only victims of violence from the state.
Not the only, the most high profile.
The most high profile, and low key, I say only because going back to like main characters and shit.
That's the narrative, right?
That's the narrative.
Right,
like this story is
the
about
black man is the main character in the story of like who experiences police violence.
So much so that we don't even recognize that black women also experience police violence as well. Black women also, I think there might even be a stat out there that's like black women actually have interactions with the police more frequently than black
right
men.
Me.
It definitely sounds right, because again, it's like
because we're all in
we have to understand that like there's narratives, and then there's
reality,
data, and like
the story.
We have to find alignment, and it's like, okay, I could believe that. Oh yeah, the black man, the police are always gonna out to get me, and out of the group, they're gonna get me before they get the black woman.
Right.
I could believe that narrative until I read the data.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Actually, damn.
That's not true.
That's not the name. What else isn't true?
Yeah.
And I feel like
what else couldn't be true?
What else couldn't be true in this situation? And I feel like that's where we see people getting caught up with the Megan Tory situation, with the Cassie Diddy situation. It's like, oh, they're trying to bring the black man down. And like, I woke up this morning and I shouldn't. This is why they tell you don't grab your phone in the mornings. I woke up, checked the time, and just signed on to Instagram. Nigga, it's like 4:45 in the morning. The first thing I see is a post from DJ Academics talking about some new evidence out on the Tory Lanez
Oh my God,
case.
that's so embarrassing.
That proves Tory is innocent. And like, it's like a combination of like trash audio that like you could hardly hear fucking anything. And then it's like this random photo of a woman in a face mask, like, and like a medical gurney or whatever they call it, and like she's obviously in like the hospital. It looks like a woman in the hospital, and like her feet are showing, and he's like, "There's not even any wounds on her feet."
What are we talking about? Also, like,
and like when I tell you that shit,
I'm sure it sent your blood pressure.
it sent me through the roof
Yeah.
to the point where I was actually not gonna get up to work out. To the point where I was like, I gotta get up and work out because I can't let this
be the thing that
be how I start my day.
First of all, DJ Academics, please.
Are you even a DJ?
Yeah. When's the last time you were on the ones and twos?
Somebody send me a photo or an image of this nigga DJ.
Prove it.
Please, because I feel like I can't even call him a DJ.
But also, like, this, the level, the campaigning that is going on.
Oh
to,
my
like,
gosh.
prove
Thank you.
this thing about Tory Lanez. What about the young man who is facing charges on some stand your ground shit? Carmelo Anthony, I believe. I don't know all of the details of the story, but like, do some investigating on that.
Let's stand up for that shit.
Stand up for him.
And I feel like, and again, when we're talking about like the black community being under attack via white supremacy, racism, when we talk about that, in a lot of people's minds, often the main character is
black men.
Mm-hmm. And like, a part of that culture is like, is it a conspiracy or is it not? Mm-hmm. Like, low key, I got into like movement work because of like, you know, conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. Like, is 9/11 this? Is 9/11 that? And it's like, well, damn, what do we have here?
What happened here?
What happened here? Is there
Thank
an
God
injustice?
that you read.
And like, it's you see it with the Tory Lanez and the Meg thing. Mm-hmm. Like, people are like, oh, this is just a plot because Tory Lanez was gonna get rights to his music and and I'm just like,
this random man from Canada.
First of all,
has the entire, like, what?
And I'm really happy that you mentioned this as a campaign, because I saw that as someone and as people who work in campaigns, you could see it a mile away.
Yeah.
So first of all, case closed. We're moved on. The nigga's in prison. Like, serve your time. Here are the facts.
Why would we be bringing this back up?
I'm not.
There's so much to talk about.
I'm not one to be like, oh well, the court said this, so it's the truth. However, I know when to move the fuck on.
Yeah.
I know when it's like, okay, that's the result. My team
move
won
on.
or didn't win.
We lost.
Moving on, nigga. What are we doing next?
The results are, in fact, the results.
The fact that they're going on this campaign tour of pure disinformation and manipulation and like straight up conspiracy theories to try to then squeeze into the back into the legal conversation.
Right.
Like, the campaign literally kicked off, like the launch, to call it a soft launch, hard launch, whatever you want. The launch of the campaign happened when they were talking about this nigga getting stabbed in prison.
Yes.
They were like, oh, Tory got stabbed 11, 12 times. He came back to life. He was dead. Oh my gosh, Tory.
And now there's new evidence.
And while we're here, there's some new evidence that we have on the case. But yeah, Tory's okay. He's alive. He's back. He's talking. He might even post some shit on Instagram. But this case... And then it's like a steady flow of random ass messengers who are literally it's like a relay race. So the fucking launch started with the stabbing, and now niggas is carrying the messaging for the next leg of the race. It's literally like you have people like
guess who's picking up the next
Amber
leg?
Rose,
oh my
DJ
God.
Academics, like.
But the next person is Donald Trump and his people who are like, well, maybe we'll just pardon Tory.
Of course.
So it's like,
and DJ Academics is already aligning himself with the Trumps, that the alt-right, that whole world, because he's like, oh yeah, I guess so. Apparently, Larry Hoover was his sentence was commuted, so now they're trying to get his sentence commuted from a state level. I forget what state it is though. But point is,
I think it's Illinois.
Yeah, it's Illinois. DJ Academics is like, he posted this like tweet of him, I guess before Trump got in office. He's like, oh, well, as soon as Trump gets in the office, I got to talk to him about Larry Hoover and da-da-da. So he's basically trying to claim a victory. He's low-key trying to Sean King hit a victory.
I actually cannot.
These niggas is sick.
But it's also like, okay.
They're sick.
Okay, so this is back to the point of like, you have your identity. It is true. The state and your identity and thinking about black people, black men being targeted by the police. It happens at a very disproportional level. It's racist. Yes. And also, are we or are we not agreeing that shooting people is bad?
Bad.
Is that not one of your values? Right. Is it not one of your values that sexual assault is bad? Right. Is that not is it not one of your values that bribery and trafficking drugs to communities that are your communities is bad? Like, let's take the identity and the truth about how our identities are oppressed, are subjugated, are criminalized, and all of those things, and add another layer of our values and what is right and true and good, and let's try to put them together. And then let's just try to put those two things together.
And that's why I fuck with, again, identity politics, because it makes you clear about the values and what is a part of your value, and how do you then intersect your values with others and their values. So to your point, it's like, we're talking about sexual assault. Seems like we should prioritize that over a bunch of other shit.
Stuff. Yes.
So like, if the AC isn't working, why the fuck are we talking about doorknobs? Okay. Like, it's hot as fuck. Let's prioritize the damn AC. Like, we need to talk about sexual assault. Did sexual assault occur or nah? It's not like, oh, well, why didn't she leave? Or is it
a black man that did the sexual assault?
Megan Thee Stallion got shot.
Yes.
It has been legally proven. It has been medically proven. Yeah. Doctors literally like, hey, seems like you got glass and bullet fragments all up in your feet.
What's up with the bullet fragments?
And by the way, some of these bullets we can't even get out of your feet. Till this day, Megan Thee Stallion has bullet fragments in her feet.
Stop it.
But niggas want to talk about she never got shot. On some real shit, Meg, I'm sorry this is happening to you.
Facts.
Like, can you imagine the level of gaslighting to get shot by a nigga you was kicking it with, might have even fucked, whatever the case is.
Your homie.
Whatever the case is. And the whole world is saying that.
Not the whole world,
but
there is an organized campaign.
The main characters in your world,
right,
are literally like.
But that's another thing, and that's another thing. And this is like.
Sorry, I just have to say this. Niggas who are then like. Who are just jumping on this so quickly without doing any research, any knowledge searching of yourself. It's crazy. In the DJ Academics comments, one of the people that commented was,
I can't believe you read the comments.
Because sometimes I have to see
the comments.
So to me, comments are good because it's like you get more data.
Yeah.
You get to see where people's heads are at for real.
Sure.
And in that, because I'm like, okay, I gotta talk about this on the podcast. I gotta see what the fuck's happening. In the comments, fucking Funkmaster Flex literally tags Megan Thee Stallion, and he's like says something of the matter of like, yo, what's up with this? Like, you niggas is sick. You niggas is sick.
Oh my gosh.
You niggas is sick.
That's abusive.
It is. This whole shit is abuse, and
I'm like so shocked.
That's why I had to get up at 4 a.m. to go work out, because I'm like, I can't. But like, this is what happens when identity politics got you all fucked up. You're actually blindsided. You don't even know who you are, because you don't know your own identity. So like, of course you're going to be mad at other people who know who they are, who know themselves, and are able to align themselves with with groups of other people who are also confident in themselves.
Right.
So like,
and also are able to hold their multiple identities, because we haven't even talked about intersectionality at this point.
We haven't even, and let's just be real. Like, again, white supremacy needs us to not be on our identity politics.
Yes,
shit.
that is a requirement of white supremacy's dominance. Is
getting you academics ass niggas to literally hold up the pillars of misogynoir.
Yes.
And literally white supremacy. Literally your white supremacy's insurance policy.
Yes. Ooh. When
white supremacy is on vacation and got shit to do because it's fucking bombing Gaza, hear yo ass go talking about here's a random photo of Megan Thee Stallion. I don't think she got shot. Free Tory.
The thing about this, some of the narratives around this attack on black men and the way that in Andrew Schultz, the kind of thing that started the conversation with Andrew Schultz and Bernie Sanders was that white men have been pushed out of the Democratic Party, but it's like,
who cares? Who cares? Leave.
But it's void of history and facts.
Yeah.
Not because, and the thing is, not because, let's just be clear, there are a ton of white men in the Democratic Party in leadership. Please look at Congress. Please look at the Senate. Mm-hmm. You're dumb. Like, there's a ton of white men in leadership, a ton of white people in leadership in the Democratic Party. It's actually mostly them. And this idea that they're being pushed out is actually them using identity politics to center that, to inform their own decisions. One of the big criticisms, and I think a valid one, of like the way that some versions of identity politics have moved around, you should vote for somebody because they're black or because they're Latino or because they're a woman, right? Like, they like that is that the other side of that is, I'm voting for somebody because they're supporting the white man. Mm-hmm. Because they're holding it down for the white, or why aren't you talking about the black man? It's like a co-optation in a way that's so perverse and also void of truth and history. Because again, we need to, the reason why we talk about Black Girl Magic, the reason why we have our Heritage Months, the reason why we have our Pride celebrations is because it was illegal, it was demonized, it was restricted, it was criminalized. Hated for so long. You all told us, you stopped us from doing it. Mm-hmm. You erased us.
So I'm gonna talk my shit.
So that's why we're talking our shit. It doesn't make sense for you, white man, to say you need to talk your shit, because nobody was trying to erase you. Nah. Nobody criminalized you. Nobody subjugated your identities. That did not happen.
And I feel like that's some of the most joy that I have, is like knowing so much about myself and my identity that it gives me so much confidence to hold white people accountable, or just say shit when everybody's thinking the same thing, but nobody's gonna say it to you. Mm-hmm. So like, I'm thinking about our trip to Mexico, and literally the second I got on the plane, and I'm like, wow, all of y'all, look at all of y'all white people on this plane, and I'm just like,
very few colors inside.
Not y'all Trump voting asses
headed to Mexico.
Headed to Mexico.
Viva la Mexico.
Wow, you niggas ain't shit. Right. Crazy work.
That is crazy work. You're right.
But it's co-opting when you have like all right, you're co-opting this idea of identity politics to serve your purpose when the facts are literally all throughout the American government and America's literal structure and system, there is white representation.
The recipe said white leadership
white
at
man,
the top.
whiteness, 2 ounces of whiteness.
Make sure the browns, the blacks and the browns and the indigenous are at the bottom or dead. Literally written in the
tablespoon of niggas, a dash.
or just a dash.
Just a dash of
Don't
niggas.
put too much.
Don't put too much
sprig.
niggas in there. Just and it's just like, how could you actually stand up there and say something like that? I think a good example of a better example of co-opting identity politics to serve your own shit is Target and DEI.
Those losers.
This idea of like, oh yeah, we're gonna, support $2 billion in black businesses.
After the George Floyd murder and the uprisings in 2020.
Right, after the George Floyd murder and uprisings in 2020, and then literally as soon as Trump gets back into office, they're like, well, we're done with that shit. And the irony of it is like this idea of, okay, oh my gosh, they're supporting black businesses by putting up $2 billion. And it's like, that sounds great. That's actually sounds amazing. Mm-hmm. Great. Redistribution of wealth. My question is, how much are you making on the back end?
Exactly. That's not redistribution of wealth. That's them
making
a savvy business decision. People want to go. People want to buy black.
You putting up $2 billion to make 10 or make 20.
That's one of the things that happened after 2020. Not only were these companies like, saying that they were gonna put more emphasis on inclusion and diversity and supporting these businesses. People were also like, I want to support black businesses, not just black people, white people. All people were like, well, who's the black bookstore? Who's the black designer? So on and so forth.
And let's do this because it's right.
And let's do it because it's right, and because we recognize the history.
That's what we should be doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Target was like, oh, okay. Y'all want to pay the black people. Y'all want to buy black. We're going to get the blacks in our stores so you come to our store to buy it.
For sure.
So that was not them redistributing a goddamn thing.
No, that was them being like, how much should I put up and how much will I make?
And they made this dumbass mistake.
What is the return on investment here?
And this is again like the co-opting and the weaponizing of identity politics, because they did the same thing with pride celebrations and rainbow flags and stuff like that. They're like, yeah, bring it all in. And then they got an inkling. They heard that maybe people were going to boycott them for doing that, for being pro-black, or Trump was going to target them for being pro-black and being pro-LGBTQ. And they pulled back. Yeah. But they didn't recognize that the identity work is actually where the value is, where the resources are. People were coming to Target to get and people did not appreciate the whiplash of it all. So shout out to everybody that is not going to Target anymore.
I haven't been there in a minute. I was thinking about that this morning.
I think like since February or something like that.
It's been a long ass time.
I can't even remember. It's been a long time, and we used to go to Target on a weekly basis just on some what you need type shit.
Giving them fucking money.
But it also does show you that like those changes in behavior are actually really possible.
They're possible, and I think they are necessary, and I think that's why identity politics is dope and has a strong place in the world, because the more you are clear about your identity, the more you're clear about what you need to be fighting for. And
the more that you don't need to erase somebody else's identity. It doesn't need to be we're all the same. If you're like, my shit's cool and you think your shit's cool, I love you loving your shit.
And I feel like,
shout out Yuri and Malcolm.
Definitely shout out Yuri and Malcolm. I think about the NFL and Colin Kaepernick and how they basically traded in Colin Kaepernick and standing up for anti-blackness for Jay-Z and some entertainment.
Terrible.
And I think that's a great like example of like not being clear about our values and not being clear about what we should be fighting for.
Yeah.
And thus we're like, but we could get a Rihanna halftime show. We could get a Kendrick halftime show. I don't know.
Right.
It's a Jay-Z.
Yeah.
If Jay-Z wins, we all win.
Yeah, exactly.
No, niggas!
That's why like you have your identity and then what are your values? You have to take both. And also what's the history?
There's always like
and the context.
And it's this weird, and that's the weird shit about representation that I feel like we don't always get because there's a disconnect in identity politics. So it's like the visual of a Kamala Harris all of a sudden means everything is great. The visual of an Obama all of a sudden means we made it. The visual of literally getting Jay-Z to be over the NFL halftime performances. Oh my gosh, we're finally gonna have a great time. Like Jay-Z made it, we made it, and it's like
no.
Colin Kaepernick was doing the knowledge. Colin Kaepernick was talking his shit. Knowledge. Yeah, shout out to Grits and Eggs podcast. Colin Kaepernick was talking his shit, and it's just like we let that man get pushed out the league, pushed out of his job and career. It's not like he didn't have more like years in his game.
Oh yeah.
And again, it's like this disconnect of our identity, this disconnect of our values, and thus this like implementing of white supremacy, this like your brain is going to naturally gravitate to whatever's pulling you the most. And right now, white supremacy is always going to be like we live in a white supremacist world.
They are the dominant story.
They are the dominant story, so we're always going to be pulled in their direction. What are you doing to resist?
Yes.
What are you doing to wake up and recognize, oh shit, Neo in the Matrix, blue pill, red pill.
Yeah.
What the fuck is like, wake the fuck up. Before you catch yourself in academics comments talking about some free Tory.
What do you think about this?
Talk about some funk flex.
So
looking crazy.
I think that I really appreciate the encouragement to like lift up this story and talk about identity politics, because I will say that like my view of these things has evolved over time, and I think that it's important to organize and to like celebrate our identities, especially those of us that have been told that it was not that we were not, our identities were not okay, or they have been used against us in the past.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to build solidarity and community amongst those people.
For sure.
But also, for me, my values are informed by my identity. That's not true for all Black people. Like some people's version of Blackness doesn't hold the same version of the same values that my version of Blackness does. And so you,
it's like, of course, in a white supremacist narrative, of course, you're not going to hold your own identity of value. You're not going to give it value because these niggas told you not to. And
also, like I'm anti-capitalist because I know how Black people were used to be and pushed down to be the foundation of the version of capitalism that is right now. Yeah. So like my Blackness makes me my identity as a Black person informs my views around being anti-capitalist and wanting to like be in class solidarity with other non-white people or non-Black people, even if there are people in my life that are of the higher class or that are making more money. If you're a Black person that understands your Blackness as a lineage, as a part of the journey of Black people in this country, if you understand how that started, then you it's really hard to be pro the industry, the system that subjugated your people for a whole time. So you got to think about, for me, identity politics is at its best when it's your identity with your values and the history and context in mind. You got to keep all of those things and make those decisions from there versus just like, oh, it's black, that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it's let's erase our identities, let's erase race, let's erase gender, and just talk about class.
I could prioritize blackness without being toxic to other groups.
Sure.
Like
it's actually super easy.
I could prioritize, myself as a main character without being like, well, why can't I come to the queer only party? Or like, it's just like, yo, that's not for you.
And that's okay.
Like, that it doesn't mean that.
Unless you're a dominant white culture person who wants to subscribe to white culture, and then it's not okay for you to not be in a space. Then you're like, oh, how I need to be a part of everything.
Right. And you see that shit too. I feel like their whole wiring gets fucked up and out of circuit when they're like, wait, I'm not
black only.
I'm not the center.
I'm not only not the center, I'm not allowed to be in this at all. Yeah, I definitely appreciate the digging into this and the reality that, identity politics is now being captured by white people, white men, white women. They're now trying to find their own identities to make trad wife, I think, is also now a new traditional wife. Trad wife is like a thing that white women are like, some conservative white women are like lifting up. It's like, I want to be this I want to be a traditional wife. I want to stay at home and have babies and not be in the workforce. I'm just letting you all know that that's just not how the economy really works. That's not really how the workforce generally works. Y'all can stay at home and imagine that somehow just this one income is gonna make allow you to have the lifestyle that you want, but it's just not. So anyways, the thing that I want to say is that we're in a time right now where, just like in so many other instances, when black people do it, black women do it, black queer folks do it, we make it cool. Then other people try to co-opt it and make it nasty. And that's what's happening right now. And I just want to encourage people to be like, there's nothing wrong with having your identity, your racial, gender, whatever, as a center of how you move through the world. Yeah. But it can't be the only thing. No. It has to be rooted in values and in a context, a historical context, a societal context.
Some form of clarity. Yes.
But we're not going to get anywhere in terms of trying to push back on white supremacy culture and the white nationalist government that's currently running the country. We're not going to be able to push back on that by just saying, shut up with your identity. Quiet that. That's actually that is aligning with their strategy. That is what they want us to do. That's what they've been trying to get us to do for centuries. So white people, well-meaning white people, populists, Bernie Sanders and the like, saying, well, just don't say too much about your politics, or don't say that you're trans. The transness is a liability. You are literally doing their work for them.
Yeah. You're literally doing their work for them when you have, thousands or millions of followers and you put up random photos of, I don't even know if it's Meg Thee Stallion or not, but you just put up random content that alludes to this idea that there could be another story in this legal case that's already been decided. You're literally doing white supremacy's work by trying to fuel misogynoir. It's really not about picking sides. It's about knowing who the fuck you are, and getting your values and your values and clarity, and just making that shit make sense, because there's always a through line in being able to make that shit make sense. Like when you listen to Republicans, it's like y'all's logic on shit is not really adding up. When you listen to the DJ academics, it's like y'all's logic is not adding up. Listening to people that are like defending Diddy, it's like your logic is not adding up. So make it make sense.
Yeah.
Love who you are. Find out who you are.
Find out who you are. And also let who you are evolve and change and grow and expand.
Without the shackles of white supremacy being like, actually, we need you to get back to work. Get this insurance kicking back up. Because I'm about to take a vacation to go fuck some shit up in another country.
That's right.
I hate it.
But I will say thank you all for listening, for sticking with us as we're taking breaks, coming in and out of the flow. Please do check out Instagram. Head over to thisthesouth.com and check out our store and this amazing collaboration spotlighting Yuri Kyoshiyama and Malcolm X. And we'll see y'all on the streets.
We'll see y'all in the streets. This has been a great episode of the N-Word Podcast. Please like, subscribe, do all of the things. Comment, talk your shit. Email us at info@thesouth.com. info@thesouth@gmail.com. I'll put it up on the screen right here.
Love y'all.
Peace.